In conjunction with the 10-year anniversary of the TV animation renaissance, the last of Cartoon Network's flagship series from the past decade has finally been put to bed. One by one, the four horsemen of the apocalyptic reformation began to drop off from 2017 onward. From the sentimental regular show finale, to the measured Adventure Time finale, to the unceremonious Gumball finale, we've finally been led into the finale of the epilogue mini-series that caps off the final titan among us, Steven Universe. In such somber times, it'd be remiss to wonder where CN would go from here. These series were the channel at their best, and they brought financial gains that not even the powerhouse cartoons could have. Even the lesser remembered ventures of our times have been chugging along steadily, but with the advent of leaving Steven Universe, there's no CN original left from the first half of the last decade. It really does signal the end of an era, and while they still have to keep pace on this long journey, you'd figured they'd choose to settle down and gradually ease us into new horizons and endless possibilities. So, what's the first thing they do? Hype up their 2000s cartoons, of course. Indeed, last week, Cartoon Network's social media has begun to pitch the young masses their new favorite show from the past under the Cartoon Network Legacy handle. Mainly through tweets and videos, they've announced events and offers that pertain to their alleged legacy brands. According to this mashup, it's a pretty cut and dry group. You know, we got all the chronological fan favorites from Dexter to the Eds to Foster's and Chowder, and the late 2000s classic Billy and Mandy. Dovetailing that would be the Adventure Time relevant events announced, the Sunday stream presenting quote-unquote 4 fan-favorite episodes starring Olivia Olsen will probably end in a trailer for the Distant Lands specials. A day later, a dev stream announced for Adventure Time's edition in Brawlhalla was slated for the same day. And to top it all off, they also happened to release a few of these iconic series on the app under the heading of Old School.
Oh, you going all old school on me, huh?
Oh wow, man, they're really playing up this whole legacy angle. This can't be related to any ongoing move or push to cross-platform. Nah. They must be rebooting Cartoon Planet again.
What?
In all seriousness, though, this is a rather interesting move for Cartoon Network. I'd argue that there's a bit of bilateral focus on this campaign. This tweet in particular directly addresses the 90s kids in the house, while the video is perhaps focused more on the younger, more current audience members. Given all of the pressing circumstances affecting our daily lives, streaming and TV have seen a significant boost in watch time. Arguably, Turner has the most to gain from next month's launch of their premier streaming platform, HBO Max. So while this is an understandable move from a business perspective, the inner traditionalist in me is salty that this doesn't seem to have an effect on the main television platform. It's a bit early to call ultimate defeat, but the nature of Cartoon Network dipping into their past is a very fluid concept. They don't harken back to it nearly as much as Nickelodeon sips the nostalgic Kool-Aid, but they are seen as the leader of bad cartoon reboots these days. I'm planning on addressing deeper thoughts in a future video, but with Cartoon Network catering to more kids than ever before, their main options would probably be to keep on trucking with captivating originals, or politely pushing and prodding their audience towards real legacy series that they'll understand, like Ben 10. Even overseas, this mentality has more or less taken hold. Over in CN Asia, a region that, along with CN Europe, typically gave older legacy series respected time slots and promotional materials, has slated to consolidate with a new branding campaign called Cartoon Network Classics. This hasn't been the first time they've done this, as 2017 saw the covert update of the Cartoons branding, but this block comes at the price of these series potentially losing primetime slots. Of course, since Overseas Boomerang is more of its own thing rather than mainly a repository for older properties. The amount of time these shows get on the main channel is permanent. The Cartoon Network brand internationally seems to be trying to realign itself to be more uniform to the American model with respect to its cultural differences. Generally, I don't have faith that Cartoon Network HQ will go back to that model, but I think they should. No, we're not going back to the CN should just air all the old shows argument, but if they're already headed down that path, you might as well make things more equal across the board. Add in a block where you can just play some of the decade's best for an hour, maybe before the Adult Swim takeover. You can play Adventure Time, Regular Show, Symbionic Titan, hell, even throw in Thundercats for kicks. You have the rights, you can just air all the whole shows. The Cartoon Network label was like thousands of hours of content at their disposal to use in branding or reinvent them for new shows or just like re-air them or something. Sometimes like the best events are spontaneous surprises, but I think they'd have something to gain from airing all of this old stuff. But like, all they had to do was bring Fusion Fall back. I mean, we kind of already did the heavy lifting for them, but still, we have to see what'll come out of it. But right now, we can only stick to the present, because after all,
here we are in the future.